I think one of the hardest things we have to do on this journey of life is learning to trust ourselves again. As children, we were tapped into that amazement and wonder and curiosity. And as a result, the child trusted him or herself. The child was able to trust their instincts, trust that if they experienced this or they experienced that they would be okay. If they went down that slide or jumped in that lake, that they would be okay. And of course, as time goes on, the child begins to have accidents or they have a bad experience or whatnot. And then the child starts to develop fears, and those fears become limitations. And one of the biggest limitations that those fears bring is not trusting yourself. Now, I'm not saying that the child shouldn't be cautious, like they shouldn't jump off a cliff or they shouldn't, put their hand on the stove, right? But I'm talking about more existential fears. Fear of experiencing pain, emotional pain, or a fear of socializing, or a fear of so many things, and I'm blanking out right now, but you get the picture. Just fears that are more limitations of the mind rather than of the body, if that makes sense. And so, of course, the things that we have gone through in our lives makes us more cautious, and because maybe we've been hurt by certain experiences, we try to not only avoid that certain experience, but then we start to project the fear that we got from that one experience into other experiences that haven't been developed yet, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is, for example, if somebody has a fear of commitment, because let's say their partner cheated on them, but now, okay, that's a fact, this partner cheated on this person, and now, that fear has developed, okay, or that hurt has developed, that pain has developed, and then the fear of commitment comes from, I don't want to be hurt again, so it's hard for the person to commit to somebody new, even though they don't know the other person or the other person's integrity or the other person's values, but they project their fears on the other person, and they present themselves as defensive, because what is this person hiding, or what is the hidden agenda? That's one example, of course, but there are many more where we project a fear that we developed from one experience into other experiences, into other new experiences that haven't, happened yet. So we begin to not only live a life full of limitations, we also stop trusting ourselves. What do I mean by the self? Trusting that deep down inside, what's right for you. Trusting your mind has the wisdom to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. Trusting your eyes. And I'm not saying see to believe, right? I don't mean you have to see something to believe it. It has to be of this physical world to believe it. No. Trusting your eyes, by trusting your eyes, I mean seeing to connect. Seeing what's right in front of you, and that whatever is in front of you is a mirror of you. So you see yourself. So not seeing to believe, but seeing to connect. Reconnect, I guess you can say. And then trusting your heart. Trusting your heart knows how to heal, how to love, how to be cautious. Trusting that your heart will lead you the right way. The problem is that as time goes on and as we experience painful events in our lives, we start to not trust our minds, we start to not trust our eyes, we start to not trust our heart. And then we believe that the world is against us. But it's not. And I guess I went into this rabbit hole and I shouldn't have. I don't know, I've just been thinking about this topic lately, of learning to trust yourself again. And how that's a journey. That really is something that we're doing all the time. It's because there are so many things in our lives that we experience that create so many limitations, right? If we see it that way, and it's so easy to see the limitations, right? Because the possibilities are endless. It's easy to see the limitations, but it's also easy to see the potentials. It just depends where your mind, where your eyes, and where your heart, where they are fixated. What perspective are they fixated on? And when your perspective is fixated on potentials instead of limitations, your heart, your mind, and your eyes will lead you to those potentials. It will not deceive you. It won't play a dirty trick on you. But when your mind, or when you are stuck in the limitations perspective, you will see limitations, and limitations will come up because that's what you're fixated on. So your mind, your eyes, and your heart will fixate on those limitations because that's the energy, that's where you're putting your attention to, right? So it's just going to do, your mind, your heart, and your eyes are just going to follow your orders, basically. What perspective to choose, because it's a choose your own adventure kind of life. So when we are tapped in to the potentials perspective, it's easier to trust our mind, our eyes, and our heart because we know that it will lead us to those potentials. And likewise, if you're fixated on the limitations. You can trust your mind, your heart, and your eyes that you will see limitations, because your mind, your heart, and your eyes will take you there and show you those limitations. And also with the potentials, if you're fixated on that, it will take you there and show you those potentials because you're telling it to. So it's following your orders, basically. I forget this all the time. All the time. And that's why I'm putting it in a video, so I can watch back and remember. So I guess this video is more for myself, but if you resonate with it, it's better to, in my opinion, fixate on the potentials, see where the growth is, see the beauty in life, seeing how wonderful and sacred this moment really is. Remembering that and tapping into that brings me a lot of peace and wonder and amazement and humility. But I also sometimes fixate on the limitations. And I just fixate and fixate and fixate. And of course, like I said, I can trust my mind, my eyes, and my heart will show me whatever energy or whatever I'm putting my attention to. You know, I hesitate to use the word energy because it's laden with meaning and people are going to think I'm talking about some woo-woo stuff. And I kind of am, but not really. Because if you read any kind of psychology, they talk about ARS, articulated reticular system. And the ARS basically is something in psychology where the brain will fixate on whatever you're feeling in your body, or whatever your outlook is, or whatever it will fixate. Read on it. ARS, I'm doing a terrible job in explaining it, but it's ARS, articulated, I believe it's articular reticular system. So, but I guess the eyes, the mind, and the heart, saying that is more of a woo-woo way of saying it, right? But if you're into the woo-woo, then it's eyes, mind, heart, right? And if you believe that there is more to this life than the physical reality, then you might resonate with that more than ARS. But if you're more logic, scientific minded, oriented, it's fine. It's just called ARS. Look it up. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, you can focus on the limitations, but you can also focus on the potentials. I always forget that. Sometimes I focus on the limitations and I'm just stuck there and putting my attention there and just like not moving. It's like I'm addicted to that feeling. And of course, my mind, I can trust my mind, my heart, and my eyes that it will show me those limitations very clearly. But it can also show me the potentials if that's where I put my attention. Anyway, trust yourself. And I think by trusting yourself, you have to kind of surrender. Surrender your ideas of how this experience should be. Oh, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to do this. Or oh, I don't want to experience anger, so I'm not gonna, just being afraid of experiencing life, the whole spectrum of emotions, the whole shebang, you know? It's surrendering that need to control your experience. Just being here, as cliche as that is. It really is the truth. It's just being here. Like, okay, I can trust that everything is okay. And therefore, I can trust myself. It's not easy. Learning to trust yourself again. It ain't easy from my experience. And I still struggle with it. Not a pro, not a master, not a guru. Not a teacher at all. But I just wanted to film this video to remind myself, trust your eyes, your mind, and your heart. Trust you know what you need in your life. Trust that, Megan, okay? Trust that your spirit is guiding you, okay? Okay, I'm back, everybody. Peace and love. I wish you all the best. I wish you a beautiful life, and see you next time. Bye.